spin, you tune into. It's time again to cherish all the time to spin, you tune into. It's the #1 podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all the artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexistence, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexistence, but to know the real.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. I'm your host, K Money, and in the building with me, my co-host Slash, Freddie G, and Comedian 96. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men. You can find us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast, and if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and or subscribe. Welcome, fellas, to another True Tuesday episode. Today, fellas, thought we'd talk about something that I think is important to all of us if you're a normal working class American. And I think we all agree that, we work to hopefully retire one day. Back in the day, they used to have what was called traditional pension plans.
Right.
But in 1978, there was a law that was signed which allowed companies an alternative to the to just traditional pension plan, and that's known as us today as the 401k.
Right. Yes, sir.
Now, I saw a video on social media where it showed this couple that had retired from what their normal job was. I think the guy was an electrician, and I think the wife worked in education. And again, they both retired and was drawing their 401k, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough for them to live off of.
Right.
So they had to go back to getting full-time jobs. So now this 70-something-year-old man is working 14 hours doing something, and the wife has gone back to teaching. So that just makes us wonder, man. We work all these years just to retire to go back to work. That really don't make sense, and it sounds like something is wrong. And we don't hear whether or not and every company doesn't do the 401k. Now let me back up a little bit because I did mention traditional pension plans, and I'm gonna tell you guys what a traditional pension plan, what it is or what it was. And some companies still offer traditional pension plans, which is a defined benefit plan that provides fixed monthly lifetime retirement benefits.
Lifetime
retirement benefits.
401k is not lifetime.
So, and I think you can run out of
you can run out of 401k,
which I don't think a lot of people understand. Maybe they feel that at the time that they retire, they'll probably die before they exhaust their 401k.
Well, the thing is, though, K-Money, in order to get the type of money in your 401k that's going to sustain you for life, you had to probably have already been at that job 30, 40 years.
And back in the day,
you know what I mean?
Folks work.
I don't want to say that because depending on how much you're putting into your 401k,
most factors in, right?
Right.
Yeah, and most companies match. Okay,
they match up to 6%.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
So think about it. If you're putting, just say, $250 a month, or just say $250 a month, $250 a month. That's $500 a month. That's pretty good, for like to me an average. But as you get older, you need to be more aggressive. How aggressive with that?
By adding
to your 401k. You shouldn't be doing 500 is when you're in your 20s and 30s a month. That's the minimum if you're 20 or 30. But once you get to them 40s, 50s, 60s, you need to be.
Here's what you got to factor into that, though.
Yeah.
I get the logic behind it.
Yeah.
But you got to factor this in, man. Think about how many of us live from paycheck to paycheck.
Exactly.
True.
Right.
And you got to think about if you're living from paycheck to paycheck and inflation is going up.
You can't put that much
then
back.
That much money, being able to put that much money back is not easy for a lot of people.
Right.
It's not easy for a lot of people. And so now you're saying as you get older, you need to put in more than that amount than you was putting in when you were younger. Well, as you get older, we know ailments come into play.
Facts.
Now we got to factor in medication and all of that stuff. So it may, more doctor visits. So it may not be as easy to put back that amount. I see the logic behind it, and I understand it.
Right.
If a company is matching it, but it may not be that easy for some Americans to put that kind of money back.
And you're right. You're right. So my suggestion to that is, if you can't, and it's just say you already putting something in, you do a raise. You're gonna get a raise.
Not
Not
necessarily.
necessarily.
Okay.
That's
Not
right.
all jobs.
But I know where you're going with that.
Yeah, put part of your raise in there, if not all.
Little by little, because you do want to see that raise.
Yeah, you want to see your
feel like
raise.
you've gotten an
But see, I don't want to. Whenever I get a raise, I don't even see the first raise. What I'll do is I'll change my allotments before I get the raise. That way, I won't get used to it. Because once you see it, be like, ooh.
But
I don't want to get used to what I thought I was
Here's the thing with the
get.
raise, though. Here's
Yeah.
the thing with the raise. A lot of people, when they get these raises, unconsciously they're looking at it like, oh, I got more money, and they're basing it off of the more money, basing it off of what their current bills are at the moment. But if you're renting,
Right.
your rent is going to go up.
Going.
Yep.
And in some cases, if you're even, in a lot of cases, even if you own your own home, you're a homeowner, and not so much as your mortgage is going up, but if you got things that are escrow within your mortgage,
Yes.
then you have the insurance going up because now that's escrowed into the mortgage, so that's going to make things go up. And you know what these. Come on, this global warming is causing all kind of stuff and all kind of
Yeah, that's true.
hurricanes and extra. So the insurance is going to go up. Not to mention property taxes going up.
Like you said,
So
in a nutshell, inflation.
Yeah. Now that raise that you got from your job, that's no longer really a raise. Yes, a little raise in pay, but
It's been factored
gone.
into your
It's
everyday
gone.
life now.
So then I would suggest this: if you're this is a second form of, you want retirement, but a lot of people won't utilize it. Buy gold and silver. Silver's $40 an ounce. Gold's a little bit more. It's like $2,500 an ounce. Buy it, and when you buy gold and silver, they send it to you. Once you bought you finish it's $40 an ounce for silver. Once you give them that 40, they send you your silver to you. They send you your ounce to you. Gold the same way. Buy that. You can pay it and just pay it in increments. You ain't got to pay, especially gold, because it's $2,500. Pay it off. That stuff.
Now you're speaking of when you say stuff like that, you got to think how many people are really educated enough to know about this gold and silver. Then we're still speaking of people who are living from paycheck to paycheck.
Right. Why? I'm talking about people that are working, that are putting money into it for 401k if they don't feel comfortable. The show is about 401k is not the way to go.
I agree, but
so that's why I'm giving you the second option: silver or gold.
Right,
yeah.
but who's giving that knowledge to purchase this?
I'm trying to give it to him now. I'm trying to give you out the knowledge now. If you don't want to use 401k, buy gold, buy silver over the course of years. Over a 20-year period, that's a lot. That is a lot. If you don't want to do 401k.
Well, one of the advantages of using the 401k, which is I know what sucked a lot of people in, are the tax advantages.
Yeah.
It's deferral to subject to federal income tax withholding at the time that it's taken out. So does that impact when you say and purchase silver and gold? How does that factor in as far as taxes?
As far as no, you just pay whatever.
So when you want to cash it out,
so it depends on. That's what you got to watch. Silver 1 month can be $50, or it might drop down to $35. That's something you just have to watch and fluctuate. Gold could shoot up really high. Everybody know that.
So that sounds like that's
silver. It's no
savings
point.
bond.
It's like a savings bond, but I don't think they offer
bond.
savings bonds anymore. I don't think they offer those. My mom used to buy them all the time. I don't think they stopped. They don't do savings bonds anymore. I don't think.
Okay, well, another benefit to 401ks, and you mentioned it earlier, I think, Comedian 96, is how some employers will match, what you're putting into it. There's actually two basic types of 401ks. There's a traditional and a Roth, which differ primarily in how they're taxed. Do you guys? My job actually doesn't have a 401k.
I have one. Mine's through Fidelity.
I know you can't borrow against the 401k, which is a good thing.
You can.
Yes, you can.
That's the best about the 401k.
That's probably
because the interest goes back to you.
You pay yourself back.
You pay your interest back to yourself.
Yeah.
So it's actually healthy to borrow from there because you
It's
get
the
that
best.
interest.
That's the way you get your money's worth out of it.
So you borrow and then the interest.
When you say the interest, you lose.
So if I get a $5,000 loan and my interest is $50 a month, that interest goes back to me because I'm borrowing against myself.
Yeah, he's paying himself back.
paying
So
myself back.
he's putting back what he
Right.
took and adding to it.
Right.
Opposed and
I'm
whatever normally
Right.
goes in is going in. So he's damn near doubling paying himself
Exactly.
back.
So if I got a
So that's the
$5,000
benefit of that.
Right. If I have a
can see that.
$5,000,
But you got to know how to work the system.
exactly. You got
If you don't know that,
Yeah.
you're out of there.
And
So-
that's where we go wrong because a lot of people, we get these retirement or join these retirement programs, but we don't necessarily have the knowledge to understanding
Right.
what we're actually involved in. A lot of people. I do know a lot of people that actually withdraw their 401ks earlier than they expect to,
And you
they
should
get taxed.
because not to cut you off, but if you loan against your 401k, like you said, Comedian 96, $5,000, you take that $5,000 from yourself, go invest in you a business, and let that money do what it's gonna do. And while you still working, it's gonna pay that $5,000 back, and you got a business over here now.
So that $5,000 that you're borrowing, you're getting penalized for borrowing that.
It's not penalized.
No, it's not penalized.
It's
You
a
pay
general
yourself
loan.
back,
Yeah.
and with interest.
So it's not the same as withdrawing $5,000 from your
No,
401k.
Now, because
Not at all.
now if you quit your job, it's a penalty.
Okay, I got you. That's the difference.
But as long as you working, it's no penalty against you because they're gonna automatically take that money before you see it.
Right.
Kind of like the goddamn IRS.
Yeah.
A little bit. But it's best to loan off of your 401k to get something out of it. Because why wait until you retire before you can see this money and this all you got now?
So look at it this way. That's why I was like, I don't know how. Say I got that $5,000 loan, right? And they say, okay, for the next, I'm just throwing the math out there. 24 months. For the next 10 months, you're gonna pay $250 every 2 weeks, plus the $50 interest.
That's going to your account.
Right.
Right.
So not only what I'm giving monthly is gonna go in. Say if I give in $100 a month, every 2 weeks, the $250 that I pay back plus the $50 that I would have never had because I didn't have the loan
Right.
goes in. So $300 plus my $100. So now it increases to
It's
$400.
increasing.
I'm like you, Slash. That's like
That's-
flipping it almost.
that's-
Yeah,
the way.
it's,
I
yeah,
would do
that's
that
the
every
best
year.
way to.
That's
yes.
how you're supposed to do it,
yes.
bro.
I
Even
would
if
do
you
that
don't
every year.
need
Let me
it,
tell you something.
1,000, 2,000. Just I don't go high.
Let me tell you,
I just like
I
the
did it.
interest.
and it made a difference
Yes.
in my life, bro.
Quickly.
And people like, oh man, I'm just gonna let my 401k sit. That's cool.
Nah,
go
it's
ahead.
cool. Go ahead.
Do that.
Do it. Save your money. Go ahead.
I ain't
It's
against
not
you.
bad, but at the same time, it may not be enough for you to live off of when you
Well,
retire.
depending on what you putting in, I put
see-
in more than what the people.
Right.
I can see if you
go with.
if
you
you're
know?
getting a loan every year, like you say, you possibly did. Slash, you're benefiting from it from the interest that you're gaining, so
Right.
you're gonna have more
gonna- yeah.
at the end.
At the end,
So
yeah.
I could, like I said, it sounds like you're kind of flipping it, which is very smart.
And I put more than what the company match in there to begin with.
Right.
You know, so you win double. That's the only system you have if they offer 401k and you working in order to come up.
And they definitely don't tell you that.
Look,
They
look,
not.
yeah, and look at it this way. Just the $50 interest alone, you did 20 years at your job. Not with an investment part, just the cash, the interest. That's $12,000 just for the
Yeah.
little $50.
A year.
We're not counting because they invest your money. They put it in aggressive stocks. They put it charter funds or whatever they're doing. That 12,000 is going to grow. So I'm going to say that 12,000 could possibly be about 14 to 15,000 off of that little funky
Now-
little $50 interest.
And now here's my thing with the 401k thing. What would make it better is to be able to take that money that's in the 401k and invest towards something without having to touch it. You know, keep the 401k where it's at and have it roll into something and let it invest. Build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for now. And there's people that know how to do it, but you got to find your sources, you got to find your information. So I'm not, out here trying to cipher information from the people. But if you give me the information, I'll try and use it, you know.
Right.
But 401k is good and bad, but like you say, it's not the best way to go unless you have the right information to make it work for you.
Right.
There are other options outside of the 401k, which you have 457, which is a deferred compensation plan.
Yeah.
And you also have tax sheltered annuities that folks can get,
Right.
which is optional retirement plans that, I definitely have At my company, I have teachers retirement because it's part of school system. It's part of my job is affiliated with University of Texas, so they take out teacher retirement. But I also have other optional retirement plans because I'm not even sure if that's going to be enough for me when I retire. So I just wanted to have different revenues coming in when I did retire.
That's right.
Because I want to continue trying to live like I'm living now when I retire. I want to be able to enjoy your retirement, and that's what the ultimate goal is to try to enjoy yourself when you stop working and not having to worry about how you go rob Peter to play Paul.
Right. That's just it. Because you don't want to just think that your Social Security that's not going to just that's
not even guaranteed by the time we're
retire.
eligible. Yeah.
That's right. And see, the thing about it now, man, is having a 401k and not knowing what to do with it or how to make it work for you. You basically living in fear because at the end of the day, when you leave your job, whatever's there in that 401k, that's all you're going to get.
Yep.
And you're going to have to retire in order to get that full thing.
Yeah.
If you pull out of your 401k or you leave that job before your retirement, you only get what you put in.
I agree.
And that's what they don't tell you. You have to withstand that whole retirement in order to get what that company put towards to help you because it's for retirement.
So let me ask this. Once you get your 401k, and this is what I don't know, maybe y'all can school me on it. Can't you also get your SSI? Oh, your retirement? You only can get one or the other.
Social Security you can't get till 65.
Right. I mean, but retirement age is 65. So he said they were 77. So I'm wondering.
No, I was saying that this couple was 77 when they elected to go back to work.
Yeah, I'm saying. So
that means they got their Social Security and it's not enough.
Still not enough.
But Social Security and 401k?
So that says a lot about the 401k.
And it's two people, so both of them got Social Security, both of them got. Well, that's 4 checks.
Well, how are they living though?
I know. Where were they working?
You see what I'm saying? They made what was their house note like? Mortgage? Did they have a huge $3,000-4,000 a month mortgage? Stuff like that you don't know.
I did say he was an electrician. Now I know
so they had
decent
some money.
Yeah, he makes some decent money, but
so they had a nice house.
So the lifestyle probably was just more than what they could afford to keep up after retiring. Right, and that's the scary part.
And that's the scary part.
That's the scary part.
And this is how they want you to live, so they can beat you at the game. The game of life, man, is really, really serious, man. And I think people, especially our age, now is when we have to start thinking, okay, how can I do what I'm trying to do and not be afraid, like K Money was saying.
Question, fellas, and I don't know if you guys may know this answer or not. Like I said, my job doesn't have a 401k. So when you start a job, how long does it take before you fully vested?
It just depends on the company and when they allow you to start. Some companies, you have to be there a year before you can start your 401k.
Right. No. He's talking about for the pension. So I know what you're talking about. So at a company I used to work at, another investment company prior to this one, you had to be there 5 years to be fully vested for the pension. Now for the 401k, Slash was right. 1 year. You got to be at the company 1 year before you can start. Yeah. You could come in and put it in, but then they're going to match you for a year.
So if you leave for that year, you only get what you put in.
What you put in.
That's it.
Exactly. So you don't get no match till the year.
That's what I'm saying. If you left before that year,
you just get your money back.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Freddie, you was about to say something?
No, actually, man, I was just going to say, man, that's why you can't just rely on 401k.
Right.
You need to be working on some other means of income, some other streams of income.
I agree.
When you're able to work, you have your job, now maybe you need to create a side business.
Right.
Maybe you need to do something to get some other sort of income in. Because, man, I want to share a quick story, man, about someone who I admire, right?
Okay.
And he actually had a hand in my life during my military days. This guy did it right. He was a black lieutenant when I knew him, when we met.
Right.
And he took me and a good friend of mine under his wing. He retired from the military. That's one income. I'm assuming, I don't know his percentage of disability via the military, but assuming that's 100%, that's another income.
Right.
So he's getting his retirement. He's getting his disability. That's another income. He went on to teach at the a school district in California. I'm not going to disclose the city. And became a superintendent and retired from there. That's another income.
That's third. That's three.
And now he's the pastor of his own church.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
He built his own church.
Yeah, he's the pastor of his own church.
Yeah, he did it the right way.
So
shout out to I'm not gonna mention no names.
yeah. As a matter of fact, I just saw him last month. He came down to visit. But yeah, man. So bottom line is, man, I think that when you're healthy, you're able to work. Don't just rely on your 401k.
Right.
Don't just rely on your pension if you have a job that pays you a pension. Mm-hmm. Start trying to figure out other ways to get other streams of income in for when you're older. You know.
I mean, even right now today, some people have to do 2 forms of income in order to live.
Just to live, yeah.
You know what I mean? So you definitely better have a way for retirement, because if you get to the point to where you can't work and you ain't got nothing working for you, you're out of there.
What's crazy though, Slash, is, you know, just like you just mentioned, there's some people that's already working more than one job.
Right.
The first available time that they're eligible to retire, they're jumping at it just because they can.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to say, you know, I was able to retire from this job, but financially, are you really ready to retire?
Exactly.
It's not being thought about.
Because what people, what you understand is you might go from 65 to 85. That's 20 more years of bills. And if you spend $50,000 a year for 20 years.
And not necessarily just bills. You got to keep in mind, you know, you're getting this paid once a month. You're not getting paid twice like you may have been getting paid every week.
Right, exactly.
So you got to learn how to budget.
You have to
really budget.
Your management shit got to be on.
I was, I remember I was in, it's the old myth that, you know, all white people got money. Well, I was in the Memorial area. I don't want to name the bank, but I used to work at that bank. That's where I started in investments in the 90s. And I'll never forget, there was people of the lighter hue that would come in. They would be there at 9 a.m. and it's older. They were all older. It's in the Memorial City area and here in Houston. And they would talk about dog food that they would eat because they couldn't afford regular food. So, yeah, you're right. Sometimes you got to stay longer than what you have to work to build your 401k or your retirement.
Whatever type of retirements you choose to go with, I definitely think we need to educate ourselves a lot more. And if you're not sure of what you have, I would advise you to get you a financial advisor to explain it to you. You know, because they work with this type of stuff on a daily basis, so maybe they could break it down to us in layman's terms to where you can understand exactly what's going on with your money and how it's going to affect you when you are eligible and ready to retire. Don't fall into that black hole that, you know, I ain't going to say everyone, but that a lot of people, a lot of Americans seem to fall into when it's time for them to retire. Like I say, they leave their job or retire from their job that they've been working at for 20-plus years. And within 5 years, they're back at a regular job working full time. You know, like I say, 401k may not be the right play, and if it's not the right play for you, that's when I suggest you find some optional type of retirements to where you can have more than one income coming in. Appreciate y'all joining us this week, man. Come back next week for another good episode. Peace out. This concludes another True Tuesday episode, and be sure you tune in tomorrow for another episode of Women Wednesday with Freddie G. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Sky Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Sky Podcast, and if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and or subscribe. And to all my 52 Sky faithfuls, it may be new to you, but if you heard it here, then you know it's true.